Good morning. All right, so this is going to be the first in a series that I'm going to start called Quarantine Cooking. And my thought process behind this is that everybody's really kind of short on, funds or short on items in their house to cook. So we're really at a point in time where we don't want to be wasting anything. Okay, so what I'm making here is I'm making bananas Foster French toast casserole. I found this recipe a couple of years ago in my grocery store puts out a magazine like every quarter. And I picked up that magazine, and this was around Easter time, probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And it was in that, the recipe was in there. And I've tweaked it like a little bit. So in the bottom of this, I should have showed you guys from the beginning, but I have already made it. The bottom of this, in the very bottom, I've taken a quarter cup of butter, a quarter cup of brown sugar, quarter cup of butter, half a cup of brown sugar, and quarter cup of pecans, crushed pecans. And I mixed all that up, and then I pressed it into the bottom of the dish. And that's basically going to make your caramel once it's baking in the oven. Then on top of that, I had made some fresh cinnamon raisin bread and some sourdough. And the cinnamon raisin has been on the counter for a couple of days. We've been eating off of it, but there was a little bit left, like probably a quarter loaf. So I chopped that up, and I thought, well, that's not quite enough. So I took a couple of pieces of the sourdough and chopped that up, and then that gives me enough to make the French toast casserole. And then in this bowl, and then on top of the brown sugar mixture, you're going to slice up 2 bananas and press those in before you put your bread on top. 3 eggs scrambled those up with a half a tablespoon of vanilla and a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. And you could also do, like, if you didn't have cinnamon, you could do like pumpkin pie spice, or you can change it up, make it interesting. Make it what you want it to be. Now, I know Easter isn't for a couple more days. Today's Good Friday. And we're not going to have a big crazy Easter like we normally do. I'm not having a ton of people. That's why this is so small, because of all the quarantining and stuff like that that's going on. So I'm just having my mom and my aunt over, and that's it. So it'll just be me, my youngest, my husband, my mom, and my aunt. And this will be more than enough for us. And then with this recipe, you really want to put it in the refrigerator, cover it up, stick it in the fridge, and then over the next day and a half, this is going to really sop up that egg mix and get nice and wet. And the softer this is, the better it will be when you finally put it in the oven. And then you're going to bake this on 350 for about 40 minutes. I usually start out with it covered, and then like the last 20 I cover and let it bake the rest of the way. And that will get like the top of this a little bit golden brown. So you guys can see what I did. I do not own any plastic wrap, and I'm certainly not going to run out to the grocery store to buy some. I have these bags, and I've actually been washing and reusing them. That's something my grandfather used to do, and he was alive during the Great Depression, and he did a lot of things like that were really neat to save money and to just be able to reuse things. So I am going to put this in the fridge now, and then I will bake it Sunday morning. Have a great day, guys. I forgot to add in, guys, when you scramble up the eggs, the cinnamon, and the vanilla, you're also going to add a half a cup of milk to that. Scramble that up and then pour that over. All right, enjoy, everyone.